welcome. We are starting a brand new campaign. This will be our session 0 in a completely new homebrewed world.
Woohoo!
Bonjour.
Oui.
Bonjour. It's Jack.
Hey, bonjour.
Hey, bonjour.
It's Jack, Shanna, PJ, and Aspen.
I go by Shananana.
I go by PJ.
I agree with this.
New world, new me.
Immediately take 5 points of psychic damage.
Well, I think I'm dead.
I'm only half dead.
It's only half. You're fine. You'll
Joke's
walk
on you,
off.
I'm a healer this time. I'm a doctor. I can take care of that.
Oh, yes, because your use of spells last time was so beneficial.
I'm gonna do the spells this time, I promise. I hope.
So, completely homebrewed world. So much.
Yeah, paint us a picture with your words. What are we doing?
Well, the world is called Forsyr. It's and one of the important information is it's planarly locked. So whereas, say, Faerun and a lot of those, you have it connected to other planes of existence, like the Shadowfell, Feywild, and like elemental planes. They don't exist. The planet is locked away from them. And so there is no Feywild, there is no Shadowfell, and the divine realms are actually much closer to the world. And the other important thing is there is no actual weave. Magic is just completely suffusing the world, which makes magic more common and also more erratic. And
I understood half of those words.
you're doing better when...
Than last time.
I was going to say, the first time I DM'd and was explaining any of the lore, there was this blank thing. Like, who do I stab?
I think I was drooling a little bit during the first time. I was like, huh?
A bit. The world of Forsyr is actually controlled by 12 separate leagues. They are political, economic, and, like, manufacturing. And they're basically entities in and of themselves that all work together. They're much more interconnected than, say, if you're familiar with the Ravnica from Magic the Gathering, where they're very opposed to each other all the time. These ones actually cooperate a lot more, just because they kind of have to, because they all are very specialized.
Well, obviously, you need someone to give you your farm goods and manufacture your goods. You better work together.
Exactly, and that's kind of the idea. So, the 12 leagues, a quick overview. The first is the League of Atrasar. This is actually mostly your politicians and lawmakers. They're not the ones that are in charge of making sure the laws are followed. They're the ones that are making sure the laws are created.
Is this like our Congress?
Yeah, kind of.
I hate them. Not as a character, because obviously my character is lovely, but as a real human being, I hate them.
I was going to say it's a little bit more based on the Senate from the Roman Republic and into the Roman Empire, but yes, same concept.
Okay.
Then you have the League of Arden, which are food producers. These are farmers. These are giant industrial farms where a single field might be, 1,000 hectares and more.
Do they sing Rodgers and Hammerstein?
Oklahoma is the place to be.
They also have giant underground, mushroom farms.
Works hippie.
Not the
Crossover! I see that they also could have brewer supplies, so that's where we go to get our booze.
Yes, they do a lot of the food production, and that means the alcohol as well.
I took important notes.
Yeah, very important. The next is the League of Inzer. These are basically a bunch of inventors and scholars. They are the ones that create a lot of magical technology. So these are workshops. They invent the stuff. They don't produce it in mass. They just create random stuff, and then if it works, it gets mass produced by other leagues.
So they like to dabble. They're a dabbling group. Okay.
They're inventors.
MIT.
Think of a bunch of crazed inventors.
Are they like, do they have to patent their work?
The league kind of takes care of that kind of stuff. They don't really patent office. It's more like if you piss off the league, suddenly they're not giving you any of their prototypes.
Oh, gotcha.
Or they might try to blow you up.
Well,
50-50.
Considering they probably know how to make those explosives. Yeah. All right.
Next is the College of Latra. These are also a bunch of scholars, but they're more interested in magic and magical theory. So they're the ones that are trying to create new spells and new types of magic. They are a bunch of egghead wizards.
Nice.
So I hate them too. Got it. Okay, moving on.
The next is the Caledon
Next.
League. And these are a bunch of physicians, pharmacists, apothecaries. They're the general healthcare workers. The unique thing about them is that all members of the Caledon League, after they do their basic they do their study of how to be doctors, physicians, etc., they are forced for a period of time to go out into the world and just help anybody.
Well, I think the word force is wrong because, like, all doctors do a residency.
Yes.
So when I read this, I thought of it as, like, a residency.
Yep.
And so then I kind of equate it to, like, student teaching, too, since I'm more comfortable with that. So I actually have a Caledon League character.
Yep.
And so I imagined her getting 2 different placements, one in one area, one in a different area.
So
So they weren't all poorer, but the one section was definitely poor.
That would be one way to do it. The other way is that some of them will just go out and travel for 10 years and just go to a bunch of small villages.
Well, my person's a traveler now, so she has traveler's clothes, so yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Is that,
I used your thing. I got this.
yeah, I'm actually very, very impressed. Thank you.
To use my Wellhouse exorcism quote, I researched it. I know I'm right. I also called you 2 times. You know? And
the next is the League of Sendis. These are the actual manufacturers. These are the ones that set up, basically city-sized factories. They're the ones that make all the amazing magical technology. And they also do a lot of the repairing of a lot of this technology. This is also the largest league by membership just because the majority of people just work 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah.
Whether that be,
like your laborers. Like
Yeah.
they're yeah.
whether it's fixing something, building something, or, these general production kind of jobs, they're almost always members of Sendis.
So I only have one question on that because I was trying to imagine this world, and you mentioned it's very techy, like in a past conversation. But when I was reading the world, it feels like any D&D world. But it says here that like there's mass transit systems.
Yeah.
So am I to understand that we have cars in this, or like
Yes, and I was actually going to come back to that
like
a little bit
manufacturing?
later.
Well, it's in here,
Yeah.
so I was wondering. But okay.
Yes, there are mass transit. There are giant trains.
That's awesome.
Subways. That's actually on the map. Those thick lines. Those are train tracks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Those train tracks. The size of those trains are not. Trains we know. Each one of the cars is bigger than your house. You can like move thousands of people on a single train.
Nice. Okay.
Or literally gigatons of equipment.
So you can move all of Asgard to protect them from.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beyond.
Sorry.
Oh, yes, that's what those lines are. Those are huge, mass, and there'll be a bunch of smaller like lines for like more standard sized trains.
Well, of course, yeah.
Those are like giant.
That's our
magical
interstate
Asgard
versus.
is not a place.
Yes,
It's a people.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So Sendis they're the ones that also do a lot of the maintaining of a lot of the cool magical stuff. The next is the Inquisitorial League of Vade. These are a bunch of witch hunters.
Do you burn them?
They can.
Oh dear.
They're
Glad to see things haven't changed in all this time.
They're less worried about wizards and, magically using stuff wrong. Their biggest worry is actually aberrations, because that is the reason why they're plainly locked, because they had 10,000 years of war against aberrations.
Okay.
So that's why they're plainly locked, to stop them from coming in.
So you're like a bounty hunter for all the yuckies.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
I am.
Oh, you are. There we are. Okay.
They
My
also work
girlfriend
with...
Oh, okay.
They also work with other leagues, especially the more martial leagues, as investigators and, like specialist detectives. That being said, they're always supposed to be on the lookout for anything that is
Unusual.
extraplanar. But yes.
Listen, unusual is the word that I'm going to use.
Well, when you look at a beholder, unusual is perfectly fine.
I'm
Oh,
a little
beholders.
beyond my element. I'm
That's
trying.
fair. The next are the League of Morkai. These are, because there is still wild areas, these are the wards of the more wild areas. They are... There's a lot of rangers, druids, fighters. They are the ones that kind of go out into the more wild areas and make sure roads are safe, make sure...
I took it as like someone who like a game warden.
Yeah. That is absolutely also under their purview. Like,
Tried to make it normal for my life.
yep. That's fair. Next is the Churnian Guard. These are surprisingly kind of a small league, but massively important. Their main job is the interring of the dead and handling like funerary and last rites.
Aww.
While actually burying somebody is very, very uncommon just because of the number of people compared to space. Almost everyone gets cremated, but there are
That makes sense.
massive amounts of funerary rites before that. And they also, rich families or rich higher-ups in leagues, or even some leagues will have like mausoleums where you'll inter the ashes
Of that person that league.
yeah, of at least of important people, and they're also in charge of those and keeping them clean and things. So they work with every other guild because everyone dies eventually.
Absolutely. What I find interesting is now
Really?
that I hear that Turnian is very close to Chernobyl. Was that on purpose?
It's actually closer. It was based on Kurnanos, which is a god of the hunt and death in.
Loser.
I was
Okay.
wondering if the Caladan
That is
Lake
better
was
than
related
Chernobyl
to the-
and totally
the,
more
like,
nerdy, so I'll take it.
I think it's Spanish word for chicken soup.
No,
Because
but
they're healers and chicken soup heals.
That's true.
it does.
Campbell's knows that.
Penicillin.
I like to think I'm part of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I think that you get to have the delight of taking 13 points of psychic damage.
Well, you're
I'm
dead.
dead.
We
You
didn't
are
even start.
With my 10 hit points.
We did.
You're
even start.
unconscious. No, we can't talk until I tell him otherwise. Until we stabilize him.
Drank too much last night.
So
The things I've seen, burning witches.
the next guild is, if you're gonna say any of them are evil, to my mind, the Utetson guild is probably the evil guild to me.
Oh, the word closest to uterus is the evil one.
Actually, it comes
I'm out.
Utensil.
Yeah, I'm out. Everyone, tell me where it came from. Go ahead, because you're smart.
It was actually a combination of like 4 different words on a random generator.
So maybe uterus. See, that's what I'm saying.
Might have. I don't ask where they generated letters.
There's only
together
one
from.
U in it, though.
Uta and then tzen. See, artisan
No,
uteruses.
no, S-A-N, that's kind of Japanese.
Ooh.
Utetsan.
Well, these are a bunch of bankers, financiers, and shopkeepers.
Oh, yeah,
Sounds
they're
Japanese.
evil. This is evil.
They're all about that money.
Yeah, here's Scrooge McDuck.
Pretty much. So yeah, they're definitely more interested in money, but they're also kind of important because they're the ones that finance businesses and make sure expeditions get financed and make sure they're also important for minting the
So
currencies.
you want a friend in that group.
You want a friend in that guild, you just don't want to ever be on their bad side.
Gotcha.
You got a friend in me.
I knew that was coming.
And because this segues quickly into it,
You're not allowed to talk. You're
gold.
dead.
Instead of using gold, copper, silver, etc., I have it set down to Atros, which is a gold equivalent, and Sims, which is 100 Sim to an Atros. It's basically a bronze equivalent, or copper equivalent, I should say. So it's easier, and it's going to make a lot more sense than everyone walking around with giant pockets full of gold. These
So
are more like
do I get to
banknotes.
assume that we get to like actually have a debit card?
Yeah, you can absolutely. Yeah.
Wait, let's make that canon. We have debit cards now, guys.
You can actually technically make that as
Can you
part of-
Venmo me?
Actually, if you want to use it that way, your league badge would also absolutely double as that. It would have your credit wealth in it.
That's right, guys. This is awesome.
Yes, that works because
We could like connect our league badges and you like click like, minus 25, send it to me and like I get money that way. That's awesome. What a good way to pay.
I do like that idea. Actually,
You're
I'm
welcome.
Cool with that.
I'm fixing your world. One crazy idea at a time.
Sure. The next is the Sahak Guardians. These ones are basically the peacekeepers. They are the closest thing to a standing army, police force.
Sitting army?
You're not allowed to talk. You're already dead.
That's another 11 points. So that means you're technically at negative 11, which means you're technically your character just gets ripped.
Yeah.
Oh my
Let's
god,
come back
you
as a
killed
zombie.
somebody again. Look at this. Your bad jokes killed another character.
Well,
it's
yeah.
just me in this world that I don't understand.
It'll happen.
Don't die over there.
Now we're gonna
She's still
call them.
coughing. We gotta save her first.
Now they're called dead jokes.
I'm the doctor of the group, so I had to
Hey,
get my.
So your
health
zombie is also
potions.
feeling real bad right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to this. I want to be able to like swing back in. So,
Yeah.
So for the you said it's Sahawk.
Sahak.
Close enough. Can you have a bad one? Because imagine if like
Yes.
a bad. Okay, so they're
Yeah,
gonna
when
be
your
like bad
Sahawk
militia.
smell.
And if you're wondering, that actually comes from a combination of a couple other words.
I'm trying to be serious here.
Well, technically, part of it comes from the middle part of Kuhulin, which is a hero from.
Oh my gosh! Please stop being so smart.
And the other one is from Sakat, which are both from the same story, which is the Ulster cycle. Irish
From the
mythology.
English teacher, you read too much. No.
No,
Mythology.
he's digging back on that one.
Yeah.
He's digging back.
So, but so could you have like a militia that like just turncoats and like could try to take over like a Hitler kind of thing going on?
Theoretically, yes. The idea
Don't
is
give him
that
ideas.
The
My character wouldn't do that.
No.
So
because
DT accidentally, yes. Lina definitely, but my new character never would do that. I just want to be prepared.
I was gonna say Gaius would convince them to just
Oh, I know.
get him his own tech
You
village
convince other people to start it
Yeah.
and just sit back and watch.
and just
Drink
take
his
over the
little cup
town
of
that was
tea.
left
Yeah,
burned.
yeah.
Theoretically, yes, but because they work with other leagues, you'll have Atrasar and Vade representatives that if someone's starting to maybe get a little bit out of line, they would quickly have them arrested or inquisited. That's the reason why Inquisitors, they have that ability to just research people down to the smallest detail, and if they find something wanting, well, it's never directly said you disappear them.
Well, I have to say that I appreciate the name Sahawk because they watch you like a hawk. That's how I'm going to remember this one. See?
Yep.
It's all coming together for me.
Yep. And then finally,
You said it's, for like key info, you said it's planarly locked.
planar lock.
Yeah. So that's kind of important.
Well, I was gonna say there's one more league, and
Go ahead. Yep.
this is one of my favorites because I think it mechanically makes the most sense, but is probably the weirdest league of them all, and that's the Seki Collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
These are not really a formal league, but they still have enough political power. They are your waste management and recycling experts.
Hey, they're important.
They are insanely important
It's
for a
important
world
for our world, yes.
they, because, like all these magical technological wonders are going on, stuff breaks, stuff is gotten rid of.
Okay, so are they all honorable, or we got some, like, Fagans mixed in there? Like, with his, like, Oliver, Fagin had his, like, urchins. The
No.
Artful Dodger.
See, here's the thing is,
That's why I asked, are they honorable?
no. That's a personal, even within a single guild, even if the guild is good aligned or
So you can have
evil
bad
aligned,
militia. So I'm sure there's some bad waste management people. Bad poopy people.
they also run what
They do a shitty job.
Oh,
What few scrapyards exist, they also run, but they usually break down everything they can to its base materials to be reused. So, if you look at their features, it's all about, like, fixing and or making stuff with the random scrap you find. And that's another thing that's going to be important as we play is you can, if you find random stuff, you can just, like,
sell it to pawn it off.
You can either pawn it off or, like, oh, hey, this is made out of such and such metal. Okay, if I know a craftsman of some sort, we can use that as the material to make something we want. That becomes very important for things like rare metals. Obviously, steel is very common, but then you get things like silver, adamantine.
Silver and gold.
And then the special and unique metal, Voltrum. Adamantium is in all of them. Voltrum is special to this world.
Excited.
Because it's magically charged metal, so it very quickly takes on enchantments. So if you're making, like, weapon or armor out of it, it is enchants much easier and can get stronger enchantments.
Right.
So Voltrum is basically magical ore.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, having all these explained, there's no set criminal syndicate league?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
You'll have criminal members of any league.
Well, yeah, no, that's why I guess I
There's
was looking
no-
for
There's
the
no
mob.
mafia.
Exactly. I was
There's
I
no
was looking
mafia,
for
there's
that.
no thieves guild.
Yet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We have a job to do, everyone.
I was gonna say, within any league, technically you could absolutely set up a syndicate.
You gotta
and-
turn my
And the
my
Sopranos
character
were in
evil.
waste management. So.
Exactly.
Hey, it's a good cover.
Maybe that's where the mafia is. We just don't know it yet.
They're teamsters. That's what they all are. It's the teamsters. So
Well, yeah, that's a good blackmailing thing. It's like, hey, if you don't give us what we want, we're gonna not fix your drains.
So, because there is no Feywild, there are no Fey creatures. They just don't
Aw.
exist. Giants also never existed on this planet. That's just a thing that never existed. Errant magic.
So fairies don't exist either.
Nope. No.
They
fairies.
forgot to clap.
Errant magic is very common, so things like wild magic sorcerers and wild magic barbarians pop up pretty regularly because, whoopsie, magic. And also because of that errant magic, there's a lot of natural stable mutations that kind of pop up in the populace, which is why there are so many different races. But thanks to the law of sanguine truth, all of them, as long as you're sentient, are considered full citizens. And the idea of, looking down on somebody because, they're born with animal parts, or they're, like a Goliath where you're like a half a foot taller than your dad at, by the time you're 12. That doesn't really exist just because
They're used to weirdness.
And also some of these races were actually created during the 10,000 years of war.
With the leftovers from the Siki. Oh, sorry.
More like they were at war with unending aberrations for 10,000 years, so they were using anything they could to fight it. And after they planarly locked it, they cleaned it up mostly.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that goblins and kobolds and orcs get to like have normal jobs here, and they're like industrious.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still gonna be like I don't want to say a racist to them, but I'm still gonna treat them like trash because my brain says they're terrible things. So
yeah,
which is gonna be hard for me as my character is a loving, compassionate person. So I gotta remind myself, we like goblins. We like goblins. We like goblins.
My character's a kobold. They're a tiny little dragon person.
I already broke my promise.
Okay, you're racist.
Yeah. Koboldist.
And so there is a divine pantheon and the vulgar pantheon, good and evil gods, a whole lot of gods. And then there is another set that are more like the level of angels and devils, and those are the muses and the dark reflections. And those kind of represent something to aspire to, or something creative and beautiful, or something that is a part of human condition that is maybe not good. Like one is callousness, which is something that is inherent to humans, but not necessarily a good thing. So, like she said, goblins and goblinoids actually pre-existed because the creator races are humans, dwarves, gnomes, gith, and elves. They actually came on some spelljammers. Then they started kicking out the aberrations that were there before them because
colonialism.
But on that planet before them, there were orcoids, which are orcs, half-orcs. Ogres are considered orcoids in this, not giant. Then there was the goblinoids, goblins, hobgoblins, etc. And then there's scaly kind, which are kobold, dragonborn, lizard folk, yuan-ti. They all kind of existed. They all had their own small societies or empires that rose and fell before, the colonialists showed up. So obviously, anything extraplanar is hated.
I do like the comment that since recycling happens so much, rates of pollution and smog are very low. So thank you for making a very nice, hospitable place for us to live.
Yes, because the idea of an internal combustion engine also doesn't exist. Because why would you when you can literally use crystallized magic to power your vehicles?
Goodbye.
Yep. Again, magic is highly prized and celebrated. This is also a very religious society because the divine plane isn't quite the same. They're actually much closer. So it's actually not unheard of for people that are more faithful, that aren't even clerics, to maybe have miracles happen around them.
Could you holler like, hey, yo, keep it down up there?
I was gonna say, if you throw a rocket in the sky, you're gonna hit a god.
Not quite.
A kite?
Because
to send the message.
Can we send letters up? Yeah,
exactly.
Float a balloon up.
That isn't quite how it works.
He knows that we're coming with ideas here.
So. Yes. And
well, if it's a really big balloon.
While you're building your literal stairway to heaven, I am not going to help you.
You probably shouldn't talk when she takes drinks. You're trying
I have this tower.
You have this talent.
We're going to build a tower.
Are we going to call it Bibel?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
And there's
an app for that too.
Yes, but that'll get the gods down on Earth.
Oh God, they're already.
One.
We'll invite them down for a party.
I can send a god down if you wanna play with a god. I will pick one and send it down.
Can we send down Kados, god of craft?
No,
he seems lovely. Oh,
are you gonna send me Centaur?
No, I'm sending you a Volden.
I don't want
the
that.
Destroyer.
I don't want that. No, put that back.
So
just put him in a balloon.
We'll send him back up.
Dragons do exist. There's just very few of them.
I saw that.
There are 6 reported. They all have names.
Yep.
Do they ever have baby dragons?
Theoretically, yes, there would be small wormlings here and there, but...
Are they delicious and that's why they never grow up?
Ah, like the caviar situation.
Exactly.
Little dragon eggs.
I was gonna say, there aren't enough that are breeding that wormlings would probably die pretty quickly, unfortunately. Okay, so going back to the magical tech, because that is massively, massively important. Technology is actually super advanced, but because everything is basically magical, everything is powered with basically crystallized magic.
Are the gods made of crystallized magic?
You could technically take divine energy from the gods and make crystallized magic.
Do
No.
they enjoy crystal?
Everyone's on crystal meth. That's how this world runs. That's
Why
why
I'm so busy.
power thirst.
It's
That's why
crystal meth in a can.
That's why everything gets done so much.
Oh dear.
So there
And
are
are we sure it's actually locked off, or is it like, someone has convinced everyone else it's locked off and they're getting a bunch of
They're
crystal
keeping all the
meth?
goods, yeah.
Exactly.
Selling it for higher profit. This is like selling diamonds. Oh man, he figured it out. Look, we figured it out, guys.
All right, time
the
to go.
most
Back it
important
up.
rock.
Pack it up.
The most important rock. So because of this, magic and
meth.
Work together.
and creativity and like artifice and
And a lot of junk. And recycling.
So this is meth that doesn't make people angry.
that would
It's
be
happy
nice.
meth.
No, it's the kind that makes you just sit in a corner and stare.
Yeah.
That's not meth. That's PCP.
No, meth will do
No,
that.
no, PCP. Oh, no.
Let's just start eating people's face. No.
Yeah.
LSD. LSD is the one where you're just like, you're seeing things that aren't there. Hallucinogens. Anyway, no. So, craft and magic are incredibly important because everything is always constantly striving for better and more advanced technology and stuff like that. So yes, there are massive trains that go across the world that are...
But owning a car is expensive, I read that.
Yes. There are auto carriages, which would be the equivalent of cars.
Yeah.
They are incredibly expensive, so...
It's like 1920s.
Yeah.
Get the Model T Ford's coming out soon, but gotcha.
Yeah.
See, I'm picking up what
I
you're saying,
do
Dan.
say this auto carriage is quite fabulous.
And most of
Much more better than the last one.
most auto carriages
With
are more
the
specialized.
formed horse.
Well, I'm going to ride my horsey.
I know that talking horse named Chris. Much.
Are much more specialized in design. They're less personal transit and more like machinery for specific tasks. Transporting.
Are you saying it
troops.
looks like a tank?
There would be personnel carriers for the Sahak. Also farm equipment for Varden.
Could doctors have like nurses, like a movable
Ambulance?
medical? Yeah,
Like
but not it's like a movable clinic kind
like
of
a
thing.
mobile
Yeah.
med bay. That is one of the things is that there are
Add to cart.
mobile they're not really houses, but they're like small structures that are basically mobile that certain guilds leagues will use for like command posts, important functions. It is perfectly possible that Caledon would have a few like mobile ICUs or mobile
For like
clinics.
bad things, like
Yeah.
the wars, yeah.
Moving
And-
castles.
I don't think we're gonna
Yeah,
move any
I know.
castles today, honey. So then you have like special gods. So
Yep.
this is not like Christianity. We have like that kind of old feeling of like that almost like Roman and
Yes.
Greek gods. So I like that. And like there's different kinds and they kind of match the different leagues.
Yep.
So you have one for muses, one for passion, one for crafting, one for like protecting. And like there's also that almost like dichotomy where there's so many good ones, there's so many bad ones.
Yep.
So you need to
And-
have that in my opinion.
And even the bad gods, only a few of them are truly evil. A lot of them are just representative of other aspects of humanity.
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's a goddess of love, but there's also an inflamer of passions. The idea of
Yep.
like love, something romantic, and something much more lustful.
One like dark reflections and
Yep.
illusions and trickery. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have thieves, and
Yep.
it's called free will. We make our choices. So
Yeah, and that was kind of my thought process in it. Is that I never wanted to make anything inherently good or evil. Everything was
well, and even like Bor Baron,
or
the
bad,
master
yeah.
of war. Like I don't see him as bad. Like war exists. So
Yeah, it happens. He just he's one aspect of war, and there's the other
Has he
aspect.
been having a long vacation?
Well, I mean,
Because they sound like they're peacefully interacting with each other. So, like, has he been on vacation? Has he retired?
Well, that's kind of how the Roman and Greek gods kind of worked out too, you know.
Yeah, they knock some stuff around for a while, and then they're like, we're gonna watch these humans for a little while and see what happens. And
What
mess with
interesting
them.
little
Buckets,
ants.
bring the wine.
Yeah. Party in the temple.
And that's why I don't call them the evil pantheon. I call them the vulgar pantheon. Vulgar is something that is. It just is. Maybe
That's
not.
where Lina would be, but no.
It's not necessarily good or bad. It's just it is. So that's the other thing. Is like order in life. He's the tyrant lord. Yes, being a tyrant is bad, but also they make sure laws are followed. Make sure everything is good. Make sure everything is done correctly. Yeah. So yeah, that was my idea. Is that there's no inherently good or evil. There are some that are definitely more evil aligned or more good aligned, but it's perfectly possible for a good aligned character to say pray to Kurhina, the Mistress of the Dark Reflections, if that kind of follows their natural view, or there could be an evil aligned character praying to a good god.
I think we should CC this so that we know we can steal your stuff. We'll copyright it. Yeah. And then we should post this to our website so everyone can see all of the work that you did. Yep. Because the next part that I like is, oh my god, I killed her. It wasn't even PJ this time.
There is one piece of information before we start talking about my less than great map drawing skills.
Well, no, I think it's fantastic. That's why I have a comment. Yeah. So, but go ahead.
There are a couple of things that are very specialized and a couple of rules that I'm going to institute as we play. One of them is during creation. If you have like different artificer tools, you don't need to use one stat for it. You can pick a stat that you want. Like if you want to say, oh, I want to use my wisdom or my charisma for my tools, if it makes sense, like, oh, if you have calligrapher supplies, charisma is just as fine to me as dexterity, because the idea is it's at that point, it's not how pretty you're making it, it's what you're saying. Or if, oh, you're using a blacksmith supplies, you can use your strength or dexterity or even your wisdom or intelligence. Kind of this idea of, I know what I'm making, I just need my hands to follow. If it's like intelligence or wisdom's like, I know if I beat it X number of times, I usually get this thin of steel or wisdom or strength. It's going to smack away at it, or dexterity, like being very fine and delicate. So when you're using tools, you will pick a stat, generally one of your better stats, and that's what you're going to stick with.
So you're saying I probably shouldn't choose my constitution?
No, that'd probably be a bad idea. Or
your dexterity.
Yes.
It feels weird the first time I don't have good dexterity.
Yeah.
I'm actually a -1. That really bothers me.
And that's the other thing is, for people that are listening, I gave my players a stat array.
Did not like that.
And then I gave them a stat array, and then at level 1, they either could take an ASI or a feat. So they can either get better stats or a feat.
I chose a better stat.
Yeah. So a couple of key items that exist in my world that don't exist. One is Magitech tools. These are Voltrum tools that are designed to create Magitech items. These are the tools that are used to make like auto carriages or like magical firearms. Also, firearms do exist. Gunpowder is a thing. It's just expensive. It's just not common. It's very expensive. The other one is maintenance tools. These are pretty standard for, what we would expect is like mechanics tools. The idea is tools to fix broken equipment, because that comes up pretty regularly. Machines are common. Fixing them is common. Yep. And like I said, there's going to be a thing where if you want, as you're in your adventures, if you find something like, oh, this is made out of, good quality metal, or this is made out of a weird metal or a weird material, I'm going to salvage that. I can use it or sell it. So if you kill like certain beasts and like, oh, that's its hide is made out of a unique leather. Cool. Skin it. Take it to someone who knows leather working, and suddenly you'll have...
I gotta carry that around.
If we level up high enough, we can make dragon bone armor.
Oh, boy.
Actually, that is the thing. Is it is kind of inspired by video games. This idea of like finding newer and better materials to make.
Yep.
Even if it's the same thing. Like, oh, it's still a longsword. Oh, this longsword is made out of Voltrum. Oh, it's going to have a +1 and it also has an extra magical effect kind of a thing. It's like...
I had the Dragonborn Comes song stuck in my head, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Bow chicka bow wow. Okay, so yes, I drew a map.
What do I not know?
So here's my question, and
Yes.
actually no, it's more of a comment. Thank you for making a flat Earth, because now all the flat Earthers will be happy because this is so obviously flat.
I was going to make that joke.
I'm
Bad
going
for you. It's very flat.
It isn't. It's actually a globe.
it's a globe. It curves at the edges.
But it's still flat. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, because every map is a flat earther. God dang. If you really want to piss me off, just have me go on a rant.
How fast does the sun travel around the Earth?
A day is 24 hours and 2 minutes. Yes, you have to find an extra 2 goddamn minutes every day.
It's like Santa going across from here to here. Man, would it be faster to go straight across or around this way? What do you think? I'm sorry, I can't.
What is this place called? Ecuador.
Ecuador. It's actually a country. It's in South America.
Well, my other comment was, I kind of see that, like, you have, like, Antarctica and you have the Arctic Circle. Like, I see, like, there's, like, this general, like, North American area. And you have a very, very humongous England. And then you have a very small, like, Asia. I like how you just didn't put in Australia or South America.
Australia got bombed.
Australia's almost broken.
No, I took that as, like, the Polynesian Islands. Like, so that's what I kind of see
It's all part of it. Kind of.
So that's what I kind of say. Like, you don't like South America, and you don't like. He does not like. Well, you know what? I get it. Everything in Australia wants to kill you, so I get it.
Technically, if we're going at that one, Europe would be at the top of the map. It got pushed into the north, into the because that's an actual landmass underneath the ice, which we don't actually have on our planet. So
I saw that as more like Scandinavia and Norway. That's what I saw that as.
So yes, I do have a map. Some key areas. It's left a little bit open, so as we make more adventures, we can, go to different areas. This is a very simple map.
It's a very sensual map.
Important places is actually... There are a few major cities. Fremis is probably the most important, because that is the seat of the ruling senate, and Vetten, who is one of the most important people in this world, along with the planar lock, all exist there. Vetten is undying. He's been alive for like 15,000 years.
Man, that must suck for him.
Well, because there's a group of very, very, very rare, like maybe 2, 3 tops of, they call them the ageless or the undying.
Yeah, I know they are.
They can't die. Even if you like chop them apart, they will just heal almost immediately. And they just grow until they're at their peak, which he appears to be around 25-ish and has not aged since. But, and that's where our world is starting now, is what they're calling the age of changes and the age of calamity. He started to age.
I just imagine that he's sitting there on his throne, and they go, "Hey, Veton, you want to hear a joke?" "No, I've already heard it." Like, that's where he's at. Like, he's seen everything.
I mean...
I've seen and heard it all.
So, yes. So that's where we're at, is that something is definitely changing the world now, because... the ageless are starting to age.
That changes.
Yeah.
I can feel them in the water.
And some leaks had different ideas. The Atrasor are just trying to keep it under lock, saying, nope, everything is as it is.
Everything is awesome.
Vade is starting to think that it's because secretly there's been a bunch of cults of, like, extraplanar beings that are actually trying to destroy the world.
Space hamsters.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was going to say they're living too deliciously, but never mind. Moment's passed.
Some of them are too busy and actually just running the world to care.
Making that money.
Utetson, they, again, don't care as long as money keeps flowing in. Varden is just like, okay, we have a huge population. We have got to keep producing food. So... That is where we are in my imperfect chronology after...
Beautiful.
So yes, the ageless have begun to age, and so the age of changes and calamity is starting.
Bad things are happening here.
And now, before we introduce our characters, I'm going to do a little bit of what your main campaign is going to be.
Cool.
Now, because the leagues all interact pretty regularly with each other, they all work together because they have to.
I have to work with him.
Yeah, kind of. Because they're the ones that keep people from stealing all your stuff.
I'm not pleased about it either.
So...
Is there some history here we need to find out about?
Maybe at this point, because all these jokes.
In the map, there's an area called the Relum Waste. Basically, there was an ancient city that was actually bigger and more impressive than Fremis was, called Relum. It was destroyed towards the end of the war with the aberrations.
That's number 11.
That is number 11. So it created a giant wasteland. But there are continual expeditions of archaeologists, scrappers. Basically, people are always going there to try to find the city or remnants of it, because a lot of ancient technology is there, a lot of important stuff was there, and also a lot of lost history is there. That's the idea, is like, where your adventure starts is, it's huge, even by the standards of, like, these kind of reclamation projects. Almost every guild is sending a lot of representatives. Normally, one of these expeditions could be maybe 20, 25 people. This one is in excess of 200 to 300 people are being sent from different leagues. So that's where your adventure is starting. Is your adventure is actually going to start outside of Calden, yeah. It's going to be outside Calden.
Well, we're really close to home for me.
Yeah, exactly. For you, this is... And that was my thing, is like, you've all been selected to go. You were kind of picked because...
I'm just there.
Well, because...
It was the closest one.
Because you're close and you know enough of the area that the people above you were like, okay, you finished your residency. It's time for you to kind of, like, settle down, but
come back home. Kidding.
But this is close to home. Maybe...
That sounds like what they do to doctors. Sorry, doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
That's true. I feel you.
Yours, because of how your character acts and thinks, yours was picked by Vade because they know that you're going to be...
But he's already dead, so we need someone new.
That's fair. The idea is that...
I'll get a new character sheet.
If you add puns, I'm going to start removing stat points.
He's going to be a quiet one now.
It's just going to be ones all the way down.
Yep, ones all the way down. I rolled a 10 minus 10.
We'll treat like a behavior chart we use for students in class. You'll have like a teddy bear. And if you're bad, if you don't get like a certain number, then you don't get the teddy bear.
Oh.
So we'll do a behavior chart.
So how
I want the teddy bear.
Exactly, Stan. You can't tell jokes.
Card system.
Yeah. So how I imagine your character end up here is that Vade knows that you're very self-oriented, shall we say? But you're good at what you do. You're not going to be overzealous and like witch hunting the actual people there. You're going to be looking for aberrations and anything that's really bad. Beyond that, you're more in it for yourself.
I'm here for the job and the paycheck.
Exactly. So you're going to keep your eyes open, but you're not going to start causing problems.
Yep.
You are here because, well, your family needs you out of the way.
Yeah. Are they trying to kill me?
No, more like they want.
Are we sure?
Is this the Sid the Sloth kind of deal? Where they just leave her behind? They do this every year.
Could you please take her?
She's the black sheep of the family, so it's more like, if we just kind of don't. Maybe she'll look impressive. Maybe it'll bring prestige, or maybe she'll die. Either way,
oops,
better for us. And my character...
I'm a he.
Yes. He. My character, Galathea, or Thea. Since I'll do the character introduction, since like I was doing the kind of why you're here thing.
Fine.
It leads right into mine.
Fine.
And I'm more important than you. I get to sit behind the screen, and I don't get to play very often.
You don't have a screen.
That is true. I'm actually not generally, as a DM, a huge fan of the screen, because it's a sight block. And also, like... I spread out my notes everywhere.
Yep.
That's why I started using my Mac. It's just nicer to click through different tabs.
That's fair. So, mine is going to be a little kobold wizard named Galathea. She is tiny. She's really, really high-strung, neurotic. And she's a member of the College of Latra. And she's kind of a member of them by accident. She was a member... But she would have been basically little more than a lab assistant and person who was basically just cleaning up the beakers.
Aww.
But the person that she...
See, even in this world, kobolds get treated as second-class citizens. Why? This is why I'm not going to like them.
Well, what happened is it's a person
because they're silly dragons.
Yeah.
They're not
the
real
person
dragons.
She was technically working for, their experiment went horribly awry, and they're dead. So she just kind of picked up his league badge. And just scratched it out real quick and put her name on it.
Got rid of the serial numbers.
Pretty much.
My absolute favorite thing of kobolds in D&D lore is they, like a cartoon, stack on each other's shoulders by threes and put a big coat on and pretend to be one person.
Yep. Now, out of combat, that is absolutely stupid, but even funnier than that, in Schult, there's a goblin that does that called the Patiri. They make battle stacks.
Meepo.
So,
He was racist.
yeah. So Galthea is incredibly high strung, but because she accidented her way into actually being a full member of the College of Latra, and at some point a pencil pusher is just like seeing her like research grants and stuff like that, and just like, sure, whatever, and just has not bothered to care enough to check on her. She thinks that she swears her life to them because they've given her this chance, and really what it is there's a bureaucrat just doesn't even know she exists.
No.
Yeah. But she's generally like really hardworking and she always wants to make the best of a bad situation. She's very like happy and she's very humble, and she doesn't really believe anyone is inherently above everyone else, but she is also hyper neurotic and is afraid of everything. How I have it written is, quote, "I'm high strung and jump at the sound of my own tail."
Is she gonna think that like she's sick all the time?
No.
Because I can't deal with the hypochondriac. I just
No,
can't.
more like as soon as something is in like danger, she's gonna be screaming about how the world is coming to an
Of
end.
course. Okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah. So she is a wizard. Also, she has the find familiar spell, and it's just gonna assume that she always has her familiar with her.
What's her familiar?
It's an owl. It's an
Aw.
elf owl. So
Is its name Hoot?
I haven't given a name yet.
It's a hoot.
And
But it's a-
Nanny.
Is it always wet? Is it a moist owlet?
It's an elf owl, so it's literally like an ounce, and it's like maybe 5 inches. It's the only owl that is small enough
To fit on her?
Yeah. And she doesn't wear armor because she's a wizard. She's supposed to wear like robes, but you can tell her robes were not actually designed for her. They're literally
A
like
little too big.
no, they're literally cut apart so that way they fit her. But it's basically like super baggy, and then it's basically cut into like a short. It's literally someone's tunic she turned into a dress.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
So you say
also-
she's a wizard, but does she have like a cool blue wizard's cap with like a silver star
No,
series? And
she
sickle?
does have a wizard's book, like her spell book.
Well, Dee Dee has a cape
Well,
and she
well,
has
here's the thing. It wasn't
she has
originally
a
her
hat
spell book.
and
It
she
was the spell book of the previous person at
Of
her
course.
lab. So it's designed for a human. So it is literally her
Huge.
backpack.
It's kinda big,
giant. Yeah. And her goal is to make a little rolly cart for it, so that way she can pull around like a rolly luggage.
I like it.
She's just really neurotic and high strung, and she's always a little bit anxious, but she wants to help everybody. She'll do what she can. She's really neurotic. I also took the magic initiate feat, so she has one cleric spell and 2 extra cantrips. So she has thaumaturgy, so when she gets angry, she just casts it and starts sounding like a real dragon. She goes, "Why are you all picking on me?" Yes, that is Thea.
I like her. I'm gonna have fun picking on her.
She's all of...
Oh, I can't. My character's a nice person.
She's all
Oh, this is the worst.
You know what's funny about this is she's all of 2 feet 5 inches and 29 pounds. So you could literally just pick her up and like toss her.
She's smaller than Alex.
Yes, she is.
Is she basically a large cat sized?
Yeah, basically. Except for they're lizards, so they have
Yeah, no,
she has a
it's
long
size,
tail. But yeah,
yeah.
she's basically a little dragon girl.
Yeah, 2.5 feet is gonna be like what 24. So she's tall. She's
30
smaller.
inches.
Yeah.
She's smaller than Alex.
Yep, she is 29 inches and 29 pounds. She's tiny.
Sorry, I'm just imagining this right now. I'm gonna put her in my book bag.
She would probably appreciate it.
Like Jack in the Christmas thing. Trying to take an elf.
Yes, pretty much. Although she if you carry her around, she would appreciate it. Oh, also, as DM, I'm just gonna say, because where you're gonna start is basically like an encampment outside Calden for this. So there'll be a bunch of like tents and like prefab structure set up for this expedition. She will have shanghaied an entire tent to herself just by accident.
Love it.
And she doesn't sleep on the cot. She literally puts the blankets over it and hides underneath it, and it's like a little tiny cave.
I love it.
Does she put like pillows under the blankets to look like someone's in
Yep.
the bed?
But she just curls up into a tiny little ball under the cot. She's basically half cat, half dog, and
I shouldn't have picked a good person.
I know, it's great.
Maybe you could have an unfortunate accident that causes brain damage and a new personality.
No, Hippie did that. I can't copy.
We've already done that. Okay, so and now your character.
Thank you for getting my name right now.
No.
All of the extras. So after reading over all of this and after seeing a picture on Facebook, I had an idea of what I wanted to be. Okay, it came to me and I was like, I'm going to make this happen. So I, for the first time ever, am going to be neutral good. I don't know how to do that, so it's going to be hard for everybody. I'm going to pretend that I'm Miri, I think, at this point. But anyway, my name is Emiana. Okay, because it's a play off of like Emily and Emmanuel and Liliana, because she is an Asimar. Mm-hmm. So she is a celestial being. She is a paladin, and she is a part of the League of Caledon. She is a doctor. And so she was born and raised by human parents. So, because there's the whole backstory of Asimars. I had to look it all up to understand it, but it's pretty simple. You know, you can be. So, her parents named Bert and Mary as a callback to our Midwinter Festival. But Bert is delightful in this. He's wonderful. He actually.
I like Bert.
Yes.
He's understandable.
Well, this one doesn't go, the whole time. We already have one of those. So he's a doctor too. So I learned my craft from him. He's still alive. He is a very modern doctor. He likes all the modern technology, all that kind of stuff. My mom, Mary, basically a hippie. Like, so opposites totally attract in the case of my parents. She was a part of the League of Inzer, but she was all about magical, all-natural items. Yes. So basically, she was doing all of that, you know, all-natural, all of that. Yeah. So anyway, she passed away a couple years ago. Natural causes. Okay. Dad could...
No, it's from too much colloidal silver. Homeopathy isn't going to help you on this one.
I feel like in this world they could find a way to scavenge that, so she would be fine.
Yeah, they straight up would. They have the wish spell. You can fix anything with that.
I just thought it was better fitting if both one of my parents was gone, it was the mother, because, you know, Disney. But anyway, I just thought, I was watching her working with her dad, so then I was like, should I have mom alive? Does it matter? No, because she's dead. But anyway, she is important because my character, Emiana, really has taken in the idea of like modern medicine, but also that folk healing stuff, because she saw her mom really help people. And so she really believed that some things all natural are helpful and will work. You know, if you use lavender, it will make it calm or make it go to sleep kind of thing. So she does a combination of homeopathy and like modern medicine. So,
which actually, from a purely standpoint, makes perfect sense because you would have proficiency in herbalism,
exactly,
and alchemist supplies.
And yeah, being a paladin along with being a celestial, I thought it really fit.
Oh yeah.
So I really thought about this, just like I did for Dee Dee. So when she was forced to do her, you know, her residency, as I'm thinking of it as, her dad sent her pretty much right away to go visit Vanitas first. Because while it's a luxury area, it is a place full of like all the most modern things. Yep. So he's like, go there first because you learn all the ultra modern medicine. And so she's like, okay, bye, fine. But it wasn't really her calling. She wants to help people. She came from a small area, so she wants to help the poor people. So for her second area, she actually went over, and it's all my posts to you. She went over to Vardenheim because she wanted to be, that's where the
grain belt is.
Yeah. So she went over there because, you know, they're cooking there, they're making things there. And so she was in a rural area over there for a while. And she actually met two of her NPCs that way. So I need my Post-its for that, actually. So she has two people that are connected to her. When she was over in Vanitas, she met a person named Shar, who might pop up later. And then when she was over in Vardenheim, she met Clarice. And Clarice was an old dwarf. She's still alive. She's like one of those old crones you think about, you know? She was a cleric. And so she learned all about the folk remedies and like natural oils and that kind of thing. And that's actually where my backstory kicks in a little bit, because up until that point, she's pretty normal, you know, apart from being a celestial, so, you know, she is normal. She looks like a human, really. She's 5'5", 140 pounds. She's 28 years old. She has gray eyes, black hair, pale skin. So apart from the fact that her eyes don't have pupils, she could pass herself off as a normal person any day. She tends to wear like sunglasses. If people get freaked out, she covers her eyes up, but she doesn't really care. But what happened is while she was over there, she found a wizard who was hurt. And she ran to help the wizard. And she has a really, I'm not forget what it's called, because you and I talked about this for a while. She can make healing potions really quickly and without the time. And she can use it because of her mom's background from Inzer. She can only use different items and like kind of create new things. So having basically tape beside her and having all this all natural stuff, she was able to basically make a band-aid, for a big band-aid for a big boo-boo. And so one of the resident farmers is like, "Oi, did y'all see this?" And they couldn't pronounce doc correctly because they have an accent. "Duct tape the wizard up! Duct tape the wizard up!" And so everyone started saying, call me the duct tape wizard, when I am not a wizard at all. And I didn't duct tape him. I basically made a big band-aid for a big boo-boo, but now I'm known as the duct tape wizard, even though it was Doc taped the wizard up. So you can call me Emma, Emiana, or the duct tape wizard. They all connect. So I feel like she got picked not just because I was born and raised in the, I call it the Flight of the Dragons, but that's not their price.
Dragon's Flight Mountains.
Nope, it's the Flight of the Dragons. But it's right there by the waste area. So I felt like I wasn't picked because of that, but more so because I'm young and I'm very well known. Unfortunately, for something that's really wrong, I'm not a wizard, guys. Like, I'm not a wizard. So that's like the one that annoys the crap out of her. She's like, hi, my name's, no, I'm not a wizard, but I am called the duct tape wizard.
I am forever going to call you duct tape.
Yes, everyone else does. But fun side note is when I make my healing potions, they're made of duct tape now. So it's like, it's canon. I actually will pull out, I'm just pulling out like gauze and I'm imbuing with all the healing potions and I'll put it on your boo-boo and you get healed, but it looks like duct tape. So I might go, I need some extra duct tape. It's like, I've just kind of accepted it now. I'm like, what's it, Doc Patches? What's that doctor that Robin Williams played in the movie?
Patch Adams.
I'm Patch Adams now. It's like my thing. So I've kind of accepted it. But anyway, I do practice in the name of my religion. So I am very much close to my religion. I really believe I was put in this world to save and protect people. And that's like the promise I've made to the world is since I am a celestial being, I'm going to help the world and protect them. I was encouraged by my dad. He obviously is modern, so we differ a little bit. He'll make fun of my homeopathic remedies, but the duct tape worked. So just saying, Dad.
Worked better than the colloidal silver.
Well, there you go. However, the one thing that's important that I wanted to point out is my one flaw is no one can know that I have broken my promise once. My promise is to serve and protect and heal anybody that I can. Really, the idea of healing people. I broke my promise once. Only the DM knows when I broke that promise. So that is me in a nutshell. I'm an angel, guys. An angel paladin. And I'm neutral good. It's going to be very confusing and very worrisome for me. So who are you guys?
Mine is short. Because...
I put way too much time into my backstories.
Well, I learned through Willem, my first character, that... it's just a bad idea to make a backstory and to assume things of my characters.
Because your roles.
Because they betray me. So.
Hey, but Willem became like a god, so I don't want to hear it.
A planar hopping god that's existed for
the icon of the master.
You're welcome.
My character, he's an older half-orc. He's been around for a while. I like to think that he's like kind of built a reputation for himself at this point as a bounty hunter. He's a pretty intimidating force to see as like he walks into a room just because of all the time that he's spent on the job and everything. His name is Hugh G. Normus. And he is just...
It's okay. It's easy to kill him if you don't heal him.
Well, the only thing worse is his NPCs that have even worse names. It's fine.
You married him, remember that.
He wasn't this bad. This happens when you become a dad. This is what happens.
Yeah. Something changes.
You helped with that, however.
Takes two to tango.
So he does not like being around people. He is very antisocial. Even though he lives in a city among people, he does not feel like he's a part of them at all. He just wants to get paid, do the job, get out, and go back home and drink. And that's and that's it, and just get enough money to drink some more, and that's his goal.
What about when he retires?
Eventually he wants to find some nice tropical coast to stay on. But he knows that at the rate he's going, he's probably not going to make it to that age.
Oh, gotcha. Drinking himself there early, or just okay.
Yeah. I said before we started recording, I kind of took a lot from Max Payne, especially Max Payne 3 when he's older, and because Max Payne, he loses his wife and child, and he has a painkiller addiction and an alcohol addiction and all that, and he's just a sad old man just trying to find purpose in life, and that's kind of my guy right now. And he has, as a bounty hunter, he has like a little private investigator kind of office where he has his secretary, who was a street urchin that he pulled off the streets. And she was, just this dirty little thing that he kind of took care of. And her name is Anita Bath. And Anita realized that he was very good at his job, but not good at the paperwork part. So he wasn't really like certified anywhere. So she learned how to do all of that, and she handles all the legal issues for him while he just does the job.
Will Anita be like a side character with us the whole time?
Not the whole time, though, but I'm sure she'll check in quite often.
Good. I want to make her my friend.
And then there is his spy on the streets that he sends out to do extra dirty work and things like that, or to, run investigation while he's doing something bigger or whatever. And this guy is covered in cat scratches, and his name is Claude.
That's nice.
Functionally, all NPCs have 1 HP, just remember that.
I feel bad for Claude, though, because he didn't choose his name. Some celestial being named PJ named him.
PJ is an evil god.
He is. I wouldn't say evil. He's like a Loki. He's just a trickster, yeah.
I feel like any god of dad jokes is inherently evil. They are beyond the vulgar pantheon at this point. The god of dad jokes and puns. Straight to downstairs, all the way down.
Another thing about Hugh is he is quite spiteful. If he gets wronged, he will balance that injustice.
Oh boy. Okay,
yeah.
That's good to know. I mean, my character's a good character, so I guess I have nothing to worry about. Dee Dee, though, I don't know.
Or if someone he knows is wronged, too.
Oh,
he looks after his own. But.
Aww. Okay. My character's name is Edvard.
Edvard.
Oh, you forgot you told us you're half orc. You didn't tell us what your actual race.
Oh, a ranger. He's a ranger.
And what's your league is the hunting one, right?
Vade.
Yeah.
Vade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Inquisitor.
Okay. My dude's name is Edvard.
Like 2 words?
No.
Okay.
Edvard. That's just we don't.
My name is Edvard.
No.
You're not naming her people. Please walk away.
No. Yes. Although I will need my paper. Yes. So, his name is Edvard. He is a cleric of the League of Atrasor. He is a half-elf. He is half-drow elf. He's half-dark elf.
Oh, do you want to tell them what god you're,
Wait, I'm kidding.
Okay.
My story.
I'm sorry.
He is, picture a young emo college kid who is the black sheep of his wealthy family. His family are.
Does his hair hang over his one eye too?
Exactly,
yes.
Full emo, and he wears dark clothes.
Love it.
Because see what happened
So
is he's
Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3.
But when, yeah,
kind of.
I'm gonna call him Toby.
When he was, he is the eldest son. He's supposed. That's why I'm wondering, like, are they trying to kill me off? Because he has a cousin who is a girl, and she's lovely for taking over the family noble position within. It's a very important. Yeah, he has an obligation.
Yeah,
and he's not fulfilling it. And well, a couple of years ago, so when he was, I don't know exactly how elf years work. But
a lot. They're
exactly,
yeah.
But he's kind of an upper teenager. Young adult.
Half elves are a little bit faster, so upper teenager would probably be around
30s, right? At least.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it would be into the mid-20s. You basically mature by the time you're about 25 to 30.
So it's been a couple of years since I've been an elf. So
yeah. Half elf is slightly different. So yeah, it'd be like you would
But
be
I'm just
in
saying,
full adult.
guys, you know,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying, no, not now. A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Couple years ago.
I had a character who was an elf, and her name was Shanani Rhea.
Oh, I like it.
Thank you.
I like it very much. So, a couple years ago, there was someone who had visited his family during some form of official gala, basically.
Inquest.
Yes, well, and an inquisitorial person came with his wife as one of my NPCs.
It's
Her
the best way
name-
to come.
Yes, yes. She is a pure high elf. Oh, hey, this is about to go there. She is a pure high elf. She is a straight up cougar.
Oh.
Yes, she's kind of middle-aged.
Oh, yeah.
She is in a loveless marriage of alliance to a man who has taken a vow of chastity 15 years ago until he finds his thing that he's trying, you know, because they are inquisitorial. He's trying to find them.
Somebody needs to make a blue pill.
Yeah, so she is a worshiper of Centaur, who is of the death realm, and he is a god of punishment. And there's kind of become a subcult where they actually try and not just go, he's gonna punish people, like, after life. Like, we can, like, purge this out of them in life. Well, he found her absolutely fascinating. He is now all on board worshiping Centaur. Like, it's his divine homie. And so, yeah, he that is his mistress.
I have to pause here for a second because I love the term divine homie for your patron deity. Compared to Joe Cat's version of it, it's deity sama.
Well, he is an emo.
It's a very funny
person.
way to put your deity, but yes, continue.
Yes, and so now he has, with her encouragement, now kind of taken it upon himself that he needs to, like, go out in the world and find people who need help purifying themselves from their sins. Is that a word in this world?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure enough.
Okay. So yeah, he is. Oh gosh, we didn't write down the limit. He is lawful neutral, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, he is lawful neutral. Now he's a bit of a fop, but he is also extremely loyal to his sovereign, to those he views as being over him. So, like, if you injure me, I will demolish you. If you injure my liege, I will demolish you. Like, he's not very bright. He, like, has just some very simple things going on. It's like, hot babe, introduce me to the divine homie, and
A BDSM cult, apparently.
oh yes, and he has a tattoo. He has a tattoo. So the death. I knew there was something I was forgetting.
It's on the back of your spell sheet.
Ah, there it is. Okay, so there are 3 gods associated, if I'm correct me if
Yep.
I'm being wrong. 3 gods associated with the death realms. They're kind of related. They all have
They are related. They're the 3 brothers.
yes, and they have kind of interconnecting symbols. So there's the one who is kind of
This was in Harry Potter.
No. That'd be one symbol. This one kind of carries them across. He's the Sharon
Chiron.
person.
Sharon.
Yeah.
Sharon is a middle-aged woman who
Yeah,
drinks
I was
too much
gonna
wine.
Those Sharons.
Karen.
Gotta watch out for them.
Chiron is also appropriate.
Karen.
Karen. But okay, so see, it has a boat.
Karen and Sharon.
It has a boat, and then the second one is the gatekeeper. There's like a gate, and then this one, my divine homie, he's a punisher, so he has a flogger. So
That's something like Harry Potter at all.
No,
It's
it
not.
Isn't. It isn't. My dude has a tattoo where he has the base of the flogger going up his spine, and then he has like the flog.
So there's no triangles on your...
No.
Ah, dang.
Well, there's spikes. There's triangles
There's
because there's spikes. There's 3 spikes on each
They're more
branch.
stabby triangles.
They lied to you. You need to get a book on Harry Potter. Sorry.
And that leads me to my second person, because I'm that disappointment of my family. So we have the familiar Major Domo, who is ancestrally tied to our family. His name's Jute. He is very sick of having to take care of this black sheep. He, like, keeps having to corral me. He, I think, probably wants me dead more than my family wants me dead. Because he has been trying to corral me since I was very young. And he always has to do it. So, he is the same half-elf mix as the rest of my family. Because he's just been, ancestors. So that's my peeps.
Interesting. So none of us are, like, bad.
No.
Well, there goes all the fun hijinks that we usually do.
I'm pretty sure you're going to get up to plenty of hijinks just because, again, you all have leagues, so you all have league affiliations, and even though they work together, doesn't mean you won't fuck over another league for your own enjoyment.
Can I have a mobile med unit now?
With a fire demon?
No. And there is a mobile clinic.
If we have to go save the world, I think I should have be able to have an auto carriage. So I'm using your term.
No, you're not getting an auto carriage.
Yet.
But we need a mobile.
Wait. Do I have access to an auto carriage? My family is rich.
Your family has one. They did not give it. You're the black. Why would you?
I might steal the keys.
That's why they're not letting you near it.
I'm emo.
All right, we all take a road trip up there. We steal it.
Could I have one that's horse-drawn? I'm gonna persuade whoever's in charge. Don't
Is
worry.
that semi-auto carriage?
What's my persuasion? I can't assume I can persuade because I'm not Dee wearing a tiara.
So I'm gonna since we've
Crap.
since we've gotten through this part, I'm gonna set up. Okay,
I'm proficient in persuasion.
I have a +3.
no.
I'm not charismatic at all.
I'm very charismatic.
Okay, well, I was going to say. Okay, so since we've set this up, now again, where this starts is I have notes. I did that thing that people do.
That's a very tame notebook.
It's also scribbled in. Oh, I know. A week. It'll be in here in a week.
Okay, cool. No
week.
spoilers.
A week.
No spoilers.
So you're
A
gonna
needle pulling thread.
La.
A note.
I have a very
so.
important an itch right there. Sorry.
Is that tea? I drink that with jam and bread.
So again, you've worked with other guilds for other leagues for different reasons, and you know that sometimes when there's a multi-league like project, it's usually again like
One person doing the project, the rest just sit around and putts. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But usually, you'll have representatives and maybe you'll end up with maybe 20, 30 people, if that. Whatever has kicked off this exploration has to be very important because there are a few hundred people.
Well, the guy's getting old, so we gotta go.
That, you wouldn't maybe necessarily know that, but that is part of it. But, so you're at a large encampment. There's a bunch of prefab buildings. You are right, there is a mobile medical unit.
I take it.
Okay.
Are we playing? Let's get the dice
we're
out.
not.
I'm setting it up so you can start doing this stuff.
Add to cart. Will it fit in my bag? If I lick it, do I get to keep it?
No.
Oh, darn it.
There are representatives from every league here, and there's even, again, some very, very specialist stuff. There's prefab bunkhouses for everybody. There is not just a mobile medical unit. There's one Ascendus is, they call it the mobile forge. It's literally a factory on, like, I don't know if any of you are familiar with this. I am, because my obsession.
Engines?
Not quite. It's more like, have any of you ever seen the crawler that they use to move the space shuttle?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's basically that kind of a platform, but instead of a space shuttle on it, is basically like a factory. This thing is huge, slow moving, and you can use it to produce just about anything.
Nice.
Can it make Pop-Tarts?
If you put food in there, yeah.
This is the modern world. There are toasters too, right?
Yeah, there'd be
Heckin'
ways to do
yeah!
stuff. So, this is
How many Atros does a toaster cost plus Pop-Tarts?
$39.99.
Dang it, I don't have enough!
I mean, probably a toaster, probably somewhere in the order of like
I like how you're actually answering this.
15 to 20
We need to-
Atros.
I don't have enough.
Hey,
And-
I have 15.
I can't get the toaster and the Pop-Tarts. I can just get one or the other.
And a pack of Pop-Tarts, I'm going to probably say is about 40 Sims.
I don't have any of those.
Yeah, you do, because
I don't have enough. I only have 15 Atros.
one Atro equals 100 Sims.
No, I don't have enough to get the toaster.
Oh, yeah,
and
you
the
have to go together to get a toaster and then some
I'm
Pop-Tarts.
saying.
I'll give you 10 Atros.
I don't want any money.
That's all I have. That's all the money I have.
So you guys, and also you do notice something very unusual. Where this encampment is, they've actually built a extension line to one of the smaller trains out to it, because you get that they're bringing in a lot more supplies than a normal expedition would entail.
Love it.
So whatever is put a bee in their bonnet has to be very important.
Ooh.
Um,
Intrigue for next time.
and basically, as the people are coming in, they're kind of just getting grouped together really fast.
And that's how we got grouped together?
Yep. Along with Thea,
What's up?
Bro.
a
That's my catchphrase.
Oh boy.
an elf from Sendes, and
Hi, bro.
there's also a human peacekeeper from Sahak that are also assigned to your group.
Are you going to watch us like a hawk?
He just stares at you.
Crap, I'm a good person. Kidding, no. Instead I say, hi, it's lovely to meet you.
I mean, you can still be a good person with a bad sense of humor. I'm right
That's
here.
Good person? Question mark?
No, I know we're not playing yet. So I have to figure out like if my character has a voice, like what kind of voice she has. I haven't figured that out
See,
yet.
I realized today as we're recording, I'm playing a very fine line of not slipping into Geralt.
I love it.
What you talking about, bruh?
Yeah, and I have like, my character is so individual. So I'm an angel, but I'm a human raised by humans. Pretty much, like I pretend to be a human. So
Do you
do I use a different voice or do I sound like Dee Dee? Do I sound like myself or do I use a different voice? I don't know.
Are you sparkly, bruh?
No, I'm normal.
I'm not your bro.
Okay, bruh.
Oh, and also, straight up, first time you meet Galathea,
Oh, I hate him.
you realize that you are the tallest, so she's immediately hiding behind your leg, and she can literally go like this and literally hide behind your leg.
Yep.
But
You're
see, like
cute, bruh.
I'm a caring and hopeful person, so I'd probably take care of her and put her. Like I'd be her mommy the whole
I
time.
was gonna grab little bra.
No,
A
you're
piece-
evil.
Up
What?
I'm not evil. I'm not evil.
You're emo.
Yeah, don't mean I don't like a little cute bra.
Oh god, we're gonna just be passing on Galathea, like, just constantly, just like picking.
Now that she's
Do
tiny,
not touch
yes.
the small dragon.
And she's already in my book bag.
Bro.
Her banjo and kazoo,
Bruh.
she just like sticks
Yeah.
out.
Yes, that's exactly. I love it.
I'm just pointing at her, just going, because he's telling me not to touch the small dragon.
And
And I'm
I-
like, bruh.
No, I'd imagine she doesn't put
Bruh.
me up there, doesn't put me up there, he just climbs up and just...
And I pop my wings out. Look, the angel's taking care
That's
of her.
very Banjo-Kazooie right now.
I know.
I'm a real dragon!
Are you gonna help her swim too?
Whatever she needs. Look how cute she is.
So yes, that is where it starts.
Okay.
Any other information you want? Since we're not going
Oh,
to start actively
I
playing.
forgot to say I have a book that does not hold any ink, chalk, or paints
Oh, yes!
or graphite.
Random items.
Yes.
I have a spherical ball with a goldfish in it.
I
I have a pet forever.
And
And his name is
the trinket
Steven.
is-
Because he's
trinket's
a
on the other
fish
page.
who's
'Cause remember, it's a
Steven.
random item we
No,
rolled
I don't
for.
have a name for him yet.
I have a multicolored stone disc of unknown origin given to me
Interesting.
by my lovely lady.
Here, take my piece of garbage.
It's called Now 13.
I owned that one.
I have a needle that never bends, and I'm imagining that that she ended up with this. This is the experiment that killed the previous owner of her badge. She's like, "Meh."
You know what? My lady is normal. My fish is named Bubbles. I've decided it's nice and simple. That's what I feel like. If this girl is a good, wholesome girl, it's Bubbles.
I'm imagining the Bubbles about this big, so if Thea is near her, she'd be literally like this.
Yeah, she could. This thing is like the size of her face, I think. It's great. It's a pretty fat goldfish.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Bubbles.
Bubbles, bruh.
Bubbles.
So,
You're almost there. I'm so proud of
starting
you.
next week is when we'll get to start adventuring.
I get to be my usual 8th grade English teacher self.
Well, my
You're doing
intelligence
great.
is -1.
That's my charisma.
I was gonna say, I was just kind of curious about people statting, just because.
So, my strength is +3.
Okay.
My dex is -1. Constitution is 0. Intelligence is 0. Wisdom +1. Charisma +3. So I'm strong, charismatic, and a little wise. And that's it.
I'm gonna do my ability score improvements real quick.
Oh yeah.
Well, while he's doing that, my strength is +0. I'm that weak, thin emo boy.
Weedy.
Dexterity +2. I'm flexible.
So you're an elf, so.
Yeah. Constitution +3.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence -1. Wisdom +3, oddly enough. And charisma +2. Even though I'm saying bruh all the time, you love me.
Remember, charisma isn't necessarily how people like it. It's your force of personality.
Well, but see, that's my
Your
point.
personality
Just
is
say bruh.
just a sledgehammer into people's brain. They just break. Because guys, most of the time, he doesn't convince people because he makes convincing arguments. He convinces people because he doesn't stop talking. And people break.
Sure, bruh.
I'm charismatic because I'm wholesome and I'm an angel. Literally.
I'm not
beautiful,
charismatic
bro.
because I freaking hate people.
See, that tracks.
So I'm gonna go backwards and start with charisma, -1. Wisdom, 3. Intelligence, 0. Constitution, 0. Dex, 2. Strength, 3.
Nice. So we're the strong ones.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Thea, strength, -1, because she's tiny with
Yeah,
her
makes
tiny
sense.
little
Yeah.
bird arms. Dexterity, +1, because she's pretty light on her feet.
Yep. Well, we throw her. So
Yeah. Constitution, +2. She's surprisingly healthy.
she's been through a lot.
Yeah,
She's hardy.
she's hardy. Intelligence, +3. Wisdom, +3. Charisma, +0. She's
Yeah.
very smart and wise. She did not die in that accident.
But she's not charismatic. She can't be charismatic. She's too small. Yeah. Yeah.
And she's literally afraid of her own tail.
All right. Well, I think that sounds great. Thank you so much
Looking
for
forward to
creating
this.
your own world. Hopefully, get lots of email questions about it because it seems like this would be fun to turn into a book and like sell on Amazon. Shout out to Homebrews. Moving on.
Yes.
Let's do our sign off. Thank you for listening to our new Danger and Dice and our new DM. Well, I should say welcome back.
Yeah.
An old friend, an old face.
Welcome to the
New
world
campaign,
of
new
Forsyr.
world,
There we go. New year, new us.
new world.
Listen to
to
our
Forsyr.
other
A whole new world.
Listen to our other podcast, Valhalla's Exorcism, where we investigate and decide if things are true or not with creepy, ghostly stories from our local area. That's mine. It's the most important. Also listen to Games Overboard, our beginning baby, PJ's baby, where we review, honestly, board games and the stories they tell. Hit us up on Facebook, like us, and share our page. Send us an email at gamesoverboard@gmail.com or go on our website and click on the contact. It is gamesoverboard.com. Anything else you want to add?
Check us out on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. We have a Betrayal House on the Hill unboxing that I'll be posting
That's
tonight,
me.
Thursday.
I'm in it. That's me.
Oh, I was going to say, if you are going to start emailing Games O Board about Forsyr, this world, and like,
We'll forward it on to you. Don't worry.
I was going to say, just put it like in the title that it's about this, because I will know that it'll get forwarded to me, and I will then.
Do you have a title for the campaign yet?
I haven't titled the campaign yet. I was because
He spent 5 years on these pages.
If you come up with a title for the campaign, let us know and they could make that the subject line.
you could just put the subject line as Forsyr, but yeah,
Forsyr.
Forsyr. Forsyr.
There you go.
Happy New Year, everybody. We
Happy
hope
New
you
Year.
have
Happy New
a
Year.
happy New Year, happy new life.